Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. It's diaperperv, and today we've got
Soggy Prince.
I love that name.
Thank you.
So today's topic is, now you're with an ABDL, or my partner's an ABDL. Now what?
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff
It's
to
a
talk
big
about.
question. Yeah, there's so many things involved with the fetish and lifestyle, depending on where on the spectrum you fall.
Yeah.
Too.
And for this purpose, we're going to talk about being a caregiver and a top to an ABDL, so someone who is into age play and into diapers, and not just a little who's not into diapers at all.
Yeah. I think especially when you're talking about littles versus ABDLs, the diaper itself really becomes a much more important thing. Like some littles will wear diapers, but it might just be like a thing, whether it's sexual or they might not actually want to use them. But for your ABDLs, like that's a main focus for a lot of us. Like we want the diaper; it's part of the fantasy, the actual feel of it, the way it is when it's on, and then the actual use of the diaper too is a big thing for a lot of us.
Here's another good question: what came first, the diaper or the little space? And I asked that of like all my clients through the 5 years, and the diapers always came first.
Yeah, for me, I would say I generally started out as maybe more DL than AB even. Yep. And then I think like the AB was always there. Like I never really wanted to potty train. I had a hard time giving up things like pacifiers. Even like as a teen and stuff, I would still have stuffed animals. So the AB was there, but I came back to diapers from a more sexual place and from a more like the diaper is the thing, and then it just kind of
it revolves everything of
having the diaper be the thing that pulls a lot of people in the first place, and then they discover all the fun little stuff, and then.
But I think most ABs are DLs, or most of them are DLs. DLs first.
Yeah, exactly.
And then added on all the other stuff.
Yeah, I feel like DL is sort of like the gateway drug to being like a little, or to being an AB. Not necessarily a little, but like I feel like a lot of littles started off.
It's the base drug.
Yeah, exactly, right.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like your, it's like the light beer or the marijuana of AB. Like you start off with that, and then you get harder as time goes by.
Wait, so what would the harder things be?
Well, I think that's more like when you start getting into, say, like just wearing the diaper for like strictly sexual things, or just putting it on. You actually start like using it, especially for both like wets and messes. When you like get yourself a rattle or a pacifier, or you buy your first onesie or whatever. Like that's sort of like when you see like the tipping point where like you start off like just getting diapers, and it's like, oh, I got this little thing, I got that little thing. Like I know,
then
like
you get more things.
Yeah, like I have a huge collection, but most of it's like piecemeal. You know, like I didn't just go on Amazon one day and just like fill up my cart with like
everything.
1,000 things. You know what I mean? It's like
you got one thing, and then you're like, oh, I need this other thing. Oh, I need this thing now. Oh, I need a matching thing for this one. Two things.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can do it very simply. Like I do know some like ABs, like they have like their pacifier and their stuffy and like whatever else, and then you have like littles who are like me. I've got like countless stuffies and like 20 pacifiers, and I customize everything and. Like, you know what I mean?
On the next episode of ABDL Hoarders,
seriously,
I'm going to come in with my shovel.
Exactly.
Shoveling stuff.
I'd just be freaking out like, no, not Mr. Snuffles, he's my favorite, you can't get him.
I felt like that's what happened when Donnie came here and helped me like purge all this stuff I purged. And he was like, okay, you have like 4 of these things. You don't need this. And he started putting things in piles. I'm like, what the fuck? And I felt like on Hoarders. Like, I started having like a panic attack. And I'm like, no, I might need that stuff one day.
Right, exactly. I might need it one day.
Even though they were all purged to me and I didn't pay for them, I still need them all. Yeah. Anyways, okay, back to diapers being the central thing that you build.
Right, because I think that's sort of what brings everybody into it. That's like the foundation of your ABDL house is like the diaper, and that should be for the little and for the caregiver too. Not that the caregiver has to be as obsessed, I think, with the diaper as the little, but it should be something that's like they're constantly aware of too. Yes. Because your little doesn't want to be.
Yes, be constantly aware of their diapers. So when you put a diaper on, that's not the end of it. You don't just put it on like you put on this hat and be like, oh, the hat's on. I don't need to do anything about it. Your mom just texted, I think. I know. You know.
I'll get back to her in a minute. Yeah.
Like, be constantly aware of it. How can you engage with the diaper? You could do diaper checks. Lots and lots of diaper checks. What little doesn't love
Yeah,
diaper
exactly.
checks?
The little is going to go crazy for that kind of stuff, too. The more constant attention you pay to the diaper, the littler they're going to feel, and the more, like, love and affection they're going to feel as well, because they're going to feel like you're actively involved in their littleness.
Exactly, yes. And it's also, like, it helps the process.
Yeah,
it's a part of the process. So other ways you can, well, okay, diaper checks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So how do we do a diaper check? This is how I do it. I'm not doing it on, you know.
As I do, I need to make for demonstration purposes.
No, because it's YouTube. No, I'm just talking about it. So I would, obviously if there's clothing in the way, then I could do two things. I could take off the clothing or put my hands like through the sides, unbutton this.
Right, or go through the leg.
Sides. I love doing that because then I like feeling the thigh area, and
it's very intimate too to get that skin-on-skin contact too. It really creates that sort of emotional connection too, as well as the physical connection.
Yes, I just think it's super sexy. But
yeah, well, that too.
Explains it so much better than I do.
Well, it is. There's the sexual connection, but there's also that like emotional connection too. So you kind of get like the twofold. That doesn't mean like you have to be in love. That's not what I mean necessarily. But for the purposes of the role play and the mindset, like as a little, when you have a caregiver, even if you're not like romantically inclined towards that person, you still, at least speaking for me at least, like you still want that sort of feeling of like emotional attachment, connection, like you are putting a lot of like responsibility on that person's shoulder, but you're also like trusting them to take care of you. So for me, that kind of stuff thing is very important. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I would feel the front of it, and not just like pat it like this, but really give it like a good like
like a almost like a squeeze or some pressure to feel the wetness.
And talk about what you feel too. Like, oh, it's just a little damp. Did you just have one pee in there?
Right.
Or oh, it's super soaked. So verbalizing what you're doing really helps as well with the mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
And then usually I let my hands like slide underneath into the middle and between the legs and between the thighs and really feel that area because that's where it's going to leak.
Yeah, it's down on the bottom part.
Yeah, where it's super squished.
It'll start wicking up the back a little bit too. So if you have a little who loves super full diapers, or if you're trying to conserve money, then you also maybe want to give a hand like down the back of the overalls or whatever it is. Kind of check the booty area too. Yeah. Because once it gets to a certain level, it's not like that diaper can't get any wetter now.
Fill a line. Yeah. Use a marker. Fill a line on the back. And then what I like to do is turn them around and put two fingers in the back waistband and do a little sniffy too. Even if they're not into messing their diaper, it's still fun to put them in that mindset.
Exactly.
Like, it's a full diaper check. I'm checking everything.
Every aspect of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And diaper checks should be sort of comprehensive like that, not just like a quick cursory thing, but something that actually like brings you and your little like closer together. It can be a very like bonding moment. And like you're saying, even if they're not into messy or you know they're not stinky, that aspect of like just like pulling it out for a peek or a sniff test. Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things that your little will be blushing, but they'll be like happy about it. You know what I mean? Like it'll be something that really puts them on a certain rung of the ladder, and allows you to elevate yourself a rung or two up, basically. So kind of like really establishing that power exchange.
So another thing about the diapers, and this is what I really like about diapers and diaper play, not necessarily age play, but it's like an umbrella. Like, because you need a diaper, I'm always in control because I can control the most basic of my bodily functions.
Exactly. So even if it's not about being little, just that even for your DLs, like they're gonna enjoy that dichotomy, that exchange of somebody who is able to control themselves, and the fact that you're either being forced to like mess or wet, or the fact that you just simply can't control yourself. Like for me, I'm big on the accidents and not being able to control it. For the little side, but I think for your DLs. Or somebody
it's
who's
the same
like
thing. It's the exact same thing.
Okay, all right. I'd say you're probably right there too. It's that idea of having less control or somebody around who is in better control than you are.
Oh yeah, like I love always remind them why they're in diapers, because you had an accident, because you'll have an accident without them.
Can't trust you, could not have accidents, or protecting the furniture, or whatever it is. There's hundreds of excuses you can
always build on it. Like, if it's already wet, then be like, see I bet you didn't even feel it coming out.
Right, you probably didn't even know you went pee-pee or anything like that. Exactly.
And it feels like you went pee-pee 3 times. How many times of those did you feel?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe ask them, like, how many times did you go pee-pee? And they might not know, or they might not want to know, or maybe they do know, but they're going to act like they don't.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with DLs.
DLs too, yeah.
Yeah, I play with a lot of DLs.
Yeah, I think there's that definite aspect of, like, not having control, even for people who do have pretty good control. It's like, some people wear diapers all the time. Like, I'm diapered 24/7, and my control is less than it used to be, but I still have some. But you've got some people who only wear diapers on weekends or nighttime, and they still, when they're in that diaper, they want to pretend, or they want to feel like they have no control, even if normally they do.
Yeah.
So you should still treat them like they don't when the diaper's on.
See, you're so good at explaining stuff.
Thank you.
You are way better than I am at explaining.
I was like, we got teamwork.
I know. No, do you need to go push? Do you need to go poopy? You do? You actually really do?
I probably could.
I'm only asking because we had a ton of Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to be, like, uncomfortable.
Oh, no. I'll definitely let you know that.
Okay.
But no, it's not like an immediate urge or anything, but, you know, like you said, lots of Taco Bell, so I'm sure I could if I tried, you know what I mean?
Okay, then don't try right now, because we're on a roll.
Yeah.
So another cute thing I like to do is just fuss over the diapers. Like, pull it up, pull up the waistband, be like, oh, it's all crooked. Just make up some reason.
Right, to kind of mess with it. Yeah, check the tapes, make sure they haven't slipped or popped. If you got, like, the sticky tapes, you might have to, like, apply a little, like duct tape or packaging tape to, like, make a non-sticky tape go, like, you know, like, if it keeps popping off, then you might want to restick it. If you've got, like, the
duct tape. That's so fun.
Yeah. If you've got the, like, the hook and loop or Velcro style tapes, then those sometimes will, like, slide or move a little bit, but you don't need to bust out, like, the duct tape for that, but you can, like, retape them up, constantly making sure their diaper's nice and snug. If you notice it's kind of drooping, maybe, like, help give them a little tug in the back and pull it up.
And then retape it a little bit.
Yeah, like, I love stuff like that. Again, like, somebody else noticing that, like, oh, your diapers are drooping.
Someone else noticing.
Right, because I'm not thinking. No. I don't care about my diapers. I just have to wear them.
Yeah.
It's up to your mommy's, daddy's caregivers to, like, be paying attention to your little and their diaper, because you don't want them, like, leaks are real.
Oh yeah, yeah. And also for caregivers, use all your senses. Like, talk about smell. Like, oh, you don't smell like pee, or oh, you don't smell poopy. Talk about the crinkling. Like, oh, you're crinkling so loud. And smell, eyes, feel. Use all your senses.
Right. Diaper pats and rubs, even if they're not, like, given in a specifically very sexual way, can still be amazingly sensual and wonderful. You know, you could just be right, exactly. It could be something as simple as you're just both sitting around, like, watching, like, TV on a couch, and, like, their head's in your lap, and you just reach over and give them a couple little pats or rubs. Yeah, stuff like that is, like, so vital to your little. To, like, as a little, I can't express how much, like, simple diaper pats or rubs, whether it's during a bottle feeding or just chilling.
During feeding,
if I'm playing around in the nursery and you just come up behind and give me a couple butt taps while I'm, like, moving my cars around, or dinosaurs are chasing people, like, again, it's just it's a very affirming thing, and it's a reminder again, like, oh, that's right, I am in a diaper. I do need my diapers, and mommy, daddy, caregiver is going to, you know,
good reminders
be
right there.
Yeah,
that's the mindset. It's not even like a reminder. It's like your complete mindset. I'm like seeing what your mom texted.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna pull up our notes again. Just in case.
Oh yeah. And it's okay to set an alarm for diaper checks too. If you're someone who forgets about it and is really bad
at it. If you're not natural, if it doesn't, like, if you're not just constantly thinking, oh, I should always be checking my little ones, like booty, then you can, like, set an alarm so that, you know, every hour or every 20 minutes or something, you have a reminder for yourself. You're like, oh,
an hour? Jeez,
that's probably
I would
too
be
much,
like 5 minutes.
Okay, see, I like that way better. I'm sure, you know, we're trying to take it easy on the newbies.
Oh, yeah. No, but the more
I
they
get
do
you.
it,
Yeah, the more constant, or the more constantly you're checking, the more of a habit it's going to become for you. And that's the idea of you, like, say, set an alarm on your phone. Yeah. Eventually you won't need to because it'll become a habit. Because you'll get so used to, like, every couple of minutes, like, checking on them. And as I mentioned earlier, like, leaks are a real thing. Like, as somebody who wears diapers full time,
leaks are hot.
Yeah, I've definitely leaked unintentionally and on purpose. And when you do leak by accident, like, again, that can be on a caregiver as much as the little.
Yeah.
Because littles, they don't want to tell you that it's time for a change, or some of them may actually, like, fight you for a change even though they want to be changed because they're in that little headspace, or they're trying to play or do whatever.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to be on top of their diapers, and it's on top of, or it's up to you to be on top of changing them before things like leaks happen.
So as a caregiver, it's good for you to pick out their diapers each time.
Yes.
Like, don't just let them pick out whatever diapers that they want. I mean, you'll learn with time what kind of diapers are your favorites. But diapers, you can use different diapers for different occasions.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I do a lot of fun outdoorsy type stuff, like hiking and climbing, aquatic things and stuff here. And so usually whenever I go out, I'll wear like a Tyco Pulse cami diaper because it kind of makes me feel like I'm a little adventurer because I've got, you know, like my camo on underneath my hiking clothes, and I'm, you know, ready to go out there and do the thing. Whereas if I'm just getting ready for nighttime, I might want something that's got like clouds or a nighttime theme or something like that. Because again, it's all about setting that mindset. Yeah, exactly. Keeping you in the right headspace, and then adhering to whatever the theme is.
Clothes, accessories, and it's fun to have a theme. Because then it makes it easier. Like, oh, we're going to the beach, so maybe we'll have something beach themed.
Right, yeah, exactly. Maybe you have, you know, like a onesie that has like mermaids or fishies on it, and then you wear like a blue or green or some ocean covered something over it, or like your bathing suit, but you have like swim diapers on underneath, you know, kind of making little outfits for different like occasions. You
and
know
also
what I mean?
a good mindset is like, he's your little doll now, or she's your little doll.
So you can kind of like play dress up with them literally, like that's it's for the little, it's a big thing too, like giving that control up, even though it seems super basic, letting somebody else pick your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know, getting tied up in a dungeon level of, like, submission, but it's that idea of that, you know, your caregiver, their caregiver has all the control in that respect. They're the ones who are going to, like, literally decide how you are presented to the world. And it takes some of the pressure off the little of trying to look cute. They'll feel more self-assured.
Even if they don't want it.
Right, exactly. But they'll feel more self-assured because you're the one that put them in that outfit, so.
Yeah. And another good thing, especially if you're not good at making decisions on the fly, is planning out activities in advance. And also creating a routine of sorts.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that way you'll know exactly, like, okay, at this time it's going to be eating time, at this time it's going to be activity time or playtime or
things
or
like
movie time.
bath times or bedtimes, controlling how much time they can spend on screens, playing with their phone or video games or stuff like that. Like, honestly, a lot like a real parent would do, like, with a real kid. Kind of like, you know,
or babysitter.
Right, exactly. Like, you've got to, like, wake up, like, brush your teeth. That's, like, one of your first things of the day. And, like, you know, like, getting a shower. Yeah, exactly.
Even if I know he brushed his teeth, I'd be like, did you brush
your teeth today? And I can be like, yes, I did. Or I can be like, no. Yeah, exactly. And then kind of
give me proof.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just because you have a little and they've expressed interest in being ABDL doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to be 24/7 ABDL. Some people, like, only want to do it on, like, weekends, or maybe it's a nice way to relax after work. So again, like, setting up something like a routine or a schedule
that works for you.
Right. That's something that'll take some discussion with you and your little. But that's the idea for them, is like helping keep them in little space and feel little. And it gives, you know, like, maybe somebody who's not very good about cleaning their room, well, if that's on their list of chores or as part of their routine, and there's things like spankings or other deterrents, you know, to stop them from being little, it actually can be beneficial to their big life as well as their little life, because it makes them feel accountable to you.
Yeah, so setting some rules, like chores and things that
definitely stuff like that.
Be done, or else there's a consequence, is really cool.
Yeah.
A simple one is like eating all your food before you get dessert.
Right, exactly. You know, like that, the idea of like rewards and punishments can be very motivating for your littles, even more so than for like actual kids, you know, because like we're not trying to be all naughty and misbehaving unless it's for fun. Like we generally want our bigs to be proud of us. We genuinely, sorry, I can't talk now. Genuinely want that acceptance and that approval from you know, whoever your caregiver is.
A lot of it is about approval as well. Not just in this kink, I've noticed, but in other kinks as well.
Right. I think especially when you're incorporating some sort of power exchange into a lifestyle, and it's not just in the bedroom either. Yeah. Because I think that's something too that's very important for a lot of new caregivers if they think this is just a sexual fetish. And maybe for your little it is, but for most of us it's more expansive than, you know, like I don't want to just wear the diapers for sexy time. I don't want you to just talk to me like I'm a baby to like get it up. It's going to be very beneficial for that, but at the same time it's got to have that that aspect of like genuine, like big and little dynamic sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's as much about like just feeling cared for and cared about as it is like sexually exciting. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that the kind of affection you get in return, and you probably speak more to it because you do more of like the caregiver side, but I think the affection that you get back in return from the little can be very rewarding, even though there's a lot of responsibility put on the big. I feel like it is on the little too to make the big feel cherished and loved and needed. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, that's a good word right there, responsibility. And I think a lot of new caregivers feel that breadth of that responsibility. Right. And they're so scared of fucking up. They want to be like the perfect caregiver for their partner. But the thing is, there is no perfect caregiver. Exactly. Everyone's so different, and everyone fluctuates so quickly.
Right, and just like in a real relationship too, there has to be, you know, like a sense of partnership or a sense of, you know,
give and take.
Right, exactly. Like even though it's a power exchange dynamic, there is still that idea that, you know, like you're compromising for each other. You still kind of have to work on things in a somewhat adult way outside of like being little, but you got to come to a consensus, you know, like figuring out what it is that your little likes to do, but then the little also has to, you know, take into account what a caregiver may be willing to do or put up with as well.
Caregivers feeling like they have all this pressure to be the perfect caregiver for their partner. I feel like,
but you have to put it into practice too. Yeah. So like it's definitely important.
It's trial and error.
Right.
Like,
it's important
just go for it.
To express yourself and say what you like or what you want to try. But it comes down to what you actually do. So like you're saying, like trial and error. So like try a couple things out, see what feels natural, what's comfortable.
Yeah, and how they react to it.
Right, exactly.
And maybe they're not sure how they react because they've never played with someone before.
Right, your little may be just as new to this as you are. Yeah. Well, they might be slightly more informed, but there's a good chance, you know, especially if you're with somebody who's much younger, college students and stuff especially, like they may just be getting back into diapers, you know. Yeah. For a lot of people,
an idea what they want, but they don't really know until they've tried it.
Right, and exactly, and or been in the life, if you will, for like a little while too. Yeah. Like we said earlier, like a lot of people start off more doing just like they're just attracted to the diapers, and then they realize that there's a much larger breadth and scale. Like again, like we've already talked about other video topics in this video already.
There's so many.
There's so many different avenues or like rabbit holes that you can go down into within this whole giant like fetish lifestyle. So that's important too, like talking about, you know, like what it is about it that is of interest to you, or, you know, do you have any limits as a caregiver, things you do or don't want to do or are not willing to do. Yes. You know, with or for your level, because
I taught a class about this.
Yeah, it's important for you too.
To
like
class. Yeah.
Like you said, like it's not about being perfect. It's about being yourself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my tip is do not act. Like don't act like you think a perfect mommy is supposed to act.
Right.
Act like your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
A partner who loves their partner.
Right, exactly. Like some of the stuff...
And wants to care for them. And,
right, exactly.
And just be yourself. I don't know how to explain it. Like, let's say, like, I'm doing a session, right? Like, when I was doing paid sessions, and then they wanted me to be a teacher. I don't act like I think an actual teacher would act like. I'm myself being a teacher. Right. So, however I am, that's me being a teacher.
Yeah. It's all role play to a degree, you know what I mean? So you still want to have like like you're still the character, you're just taking on like different aspects. Like again, if you're trying to be like a teacher or a nanny versus like a mommy or a daddy or something, then you can do some things slightly differently or reference things a little differently than you would if you like were the parental figure. But a lot of the time it's just going to be on you to be yourself. I'm not sure if that actually makes sense the way I tried to explain that.
I think so. I think if it relates to them, they'll make it make sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And another thing for caregivers is that always be aware that you're the big and give them lots of attention.
Yes.
So if
the
if
attention
they're not,
is very important.
Yeah, if they're not constantly like pestering you or wanting something from you, if they're just doing their own thing, give them the attention. Be like,
right, ask them
it's
what they're
too
up
quiet.
to.
What are you doing over here?
Right, yeah,
Check
exactly.
Up on them.
Or
yeah.
if you know, now you've come to recognize, the names of their stuffies. So it's like, oh, what are you and Cotton up to? Or what are you and, like Miss Daisy doing right now? You know what I mean? So kind of incorporate their toys or their stuffies into conversations or discussions, especially if they have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it looks like you and Mr. Bear are coloring a really nice picture. Maybe that's the only reason they haven't talked to you in a while, because they're just very focused on what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I promise you there's not a little on the planet, well, maybe there could be, but there's not a little on the planet that doesn't want your attention most of the time.
Yeah.
Even if they're not giving you any attention, they want you to bug them.
Yes, go bug them.
Yeah.
Like a real parent. Just,
yeah, exactly.
Like
Just
I know,
check up
like
on
a
them.
helicopter parent.
There
That's
you
what
go.
my hubby calls it. Like, you're helicoptering. When I'm like hovering and I'm like, oh, what are you doing over here?
Yeah. Maybe not so good for raising actual children, but great for giving a little attention and making them feel wanted and loved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again,
sometimes also works for husbands.
Yes. Any spouse, really. Like people, I think it's just natural. Anybody likes getting attention, right? I'm sure you like it when somebody's paying attention to you, dear viewer. So same kind of thing. If you're going to be the one on the top of the power exchange, then definitely make sure you're paying a lot of attention. And again, every little's a little different. So you'll have some little be more shy. Yeah. You'll have some little be more needy. Like I tend to be kind of a pest or a bug sometimes when I'm around a big. I'm always like, what you doing? Or messing with your stuff, or like, sitting down by your feet, or, tugging on your shirt or your pants to try and like get some attention out of you. Yeah.
More attention.
But every little likes attention.
Yes.
And there's times too when I can clam up or I can be doing stuff. So if a big that I'm playing with does come over and like, oh, what are you coloring? What are you watching? What are you doing? Like that kind of stuff is like so important to me as a little, the fact that you're actually taking an interest in whatever silly childish pursuit I'm involved in. Yeah.
And another good thing to do is just come up behind them and give them hugs. Give them
that
like
constant, not only attention, but that physical attention too. Yeah. Little tickles, is that giving hugs,
or say
playing with their hair. Yeah, exactly.
Or
holding their hands.
Sit behind them if they're on the floor or whatever on the couch. I like to sit behind them because I'm physically smaller than guys,
so you can kind of fit back in there behind them. But then it makes me feel smaller to have you back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like even like just because you're physically smaller than your little doesn't mean you can't still make them feel emotionally smaller than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also reminding them of their diaper.
Yes. Oh, that is just a constant thing. Like
verbiage is important.
Yeah.
How's your diaper? Just even asking that before you check it. Then they're aware of it. They know you're aware, and then they have to think about it.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to use your language to sort of emphasize the difference in the power exchange going on.
Yeah. Lots of adjectives.
Yeah, exactly. And
words.
Picking things, like you were saying, like taking words that, like the word diaper, even, like just constantly reiterating or referring to, like their little things, diaper, binky, short all,
cute words,
onesie, and then also using cute words too for things, like instead of like a finger, maybe they're fingies. Instead of, toes, maybe they're toesies. Yeah, exactly. All kinds of things like body parts, different objects, bodily functions, instead of like, saying like pee or poop, you can like pee-pees or tinkies or winkies or something.
Wee-wees.
Yeah, exactly.
Pushies.
Like pushies or poopies for
Stinkies.
like poop stinkies. Yeah, exactly. Again, referring to them as that instead of just saying, like, someone has a messy diaper, which you can. You'd be like, oh, somebody's a little bit smelly, or, oh, I smell a stinky baby. Just kind of changing the rhetoric
verbiage,
and the verbiage up a little bit from time to time can make it fun and interesting for you, but also like excites the little when you know, use new things or refer to them that way. You know, like you maybe just call them baby when you call them a stinky baby. Now now they're gonna blush. You know what I mean? Or
lots of adjectives.
Yeah.
A stinky messy baby.
Yeah, just pile them up.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Adjectives.
Yeah, kind of like, you know, just like tacking on things. You know, like a stinky, messy little baby. Like, oh man, oh, I'm so embarrassed now. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that too. Along those lines is kind of like with the diaper checks, telling them that, oh, good job, you are not stinky yet, or telling them how proud you are of them for using their diapers.
Okay, so I think that kind of sums up being a caregiver. It's kind of like a general introduction.
Right, yeah,
to being a caregiver. There's
so many things, and all the talking points we discussed, we could probably make a video individually on those. But this is kind of a good overview of things to expect when you've got someone little in your life and you're not really 100% sure where to even start. I think this video will give you a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
And stuff to research more, and maybe there'll be more videos coming detailing things like, you know, how to create a routine or how to come up with a list of chores and
feeding
times, how to properly, you know, do bottles and stuff like that. These are all things you can get more in depth, but at least now you have an idea, you know.
Yeah, a good jumping off point of treating your little
like a little, exactly, making them feel little, and then hopefully, you know, taking the steps towards being a, you know, really solid caregiver and big, and someone your little will be, you know, happy to have as their caregiver. I
think that the best piece of advice I can think of is that it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
Like the power exchange is totally all-encompassing, at least for me, because they're in diapers and I'm not.
Right. And again, that diaper being that key factor there primarily. Yeah. It's the thing. It's like the magic relic. Or
magic relic.
Right, it's like the
magic relic.
Right? Oh, yeah. So that's like sort of the thing everything else stems from, is like taking that diaper and then just expanding their little horizons, if you will.
Oh, that's so cute. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Yep. Bye.